Why is it that up and down the country we're fighting battles over shift systems? Why is it that up and down the country we've got human resources departments eating away at our members' conditions of service? And why is it we've got 744 members now in South Yorkshire facing the threat of effectively being sacked on the 1st of January next year? There's not an accident that that is happening to firefighters up and down the country.
Public sector is being hit across the board, and it's just clear with the amount of action and the amount of ballots that are being issued at the moment within the fire service. This is an attack on the fire service. This is an attack on a public service, a service that is paid by and funded by the public. The public aren't aware of these cuts that are coming in. The Fire Authority came up with an RMP back in the summer of last year. The proposals affected our RDS members and our whole-time members. It's about reduction in 44 frontline jobs. It's about the removal of dedicated crewing of our ALPs and our RTs. At the moment, all our RTs and all our aerial ladder platforms are dedicated crewed. Whenever we need them, they're there straight away, and they're strategically placed around the brigade. With these new proposals, it's about having the dedicated crews removed, which will mean that the RTs or the ALP will only be available at any time. The reduction of 44 frontline jobs is also an issue to us. They're talking about implementing small fire units for our RDS members, selective paging where they only bring in a minimum of 4 for any incident, and embedded whole-time officers on retained stations. This will mean that the career progress for retain will be limited, and you'll have whole-time officers riding on retained stations.
Well, our concerns are that the fire service and the cuts that they're introducing at the moment is going to mean a reduced service for the public. There's going to be less firefighters on each station riding the fire appliances, which will be responding to calls in Essex, which is obviously going to have a big impact in Essex with regards to the public safety and the safety of our members, the firefighters on the fire engines.
The impact in Basildon and for the community is that we're actually be losing one of our specialist rescue appliances, which is actually our aerial ladder platform, which goes to all high-rise buildings of anything 4 stories or above. And obviously the sort of effect that this is going to have on the public is that if this actually gets moved from Basildon and put into another area of Essex, we're then going to have a delay turnout in Basildon, and for the public if they did have a fire in one of their flats.
The Fire Authority plans went through in November, and there was a successful lobby of County Hall by firefighters. All of our firefighters and our branches and our officials have hoped that through negotiation, through talks, we could avert this and we could come up with a compromise. What we've asked for is a joint review between the FBU and the service to see where we can make savings. The FBU nationally and certainly in Essex have modernised.
Well, there's different levels of cuts across different stations. The stations that they're proposing that they remove certain fire appliances from and then move them to other stations, and so effectively half the crewing necessary for those appliances, will be losing in the region of 10 to 12% of the workforce at those stations. But across the service, for the number of firefighters that we have, it will work out at around about 4% cut in the number of firefighters actually riding fire engines.
We believe there are savings to be made elsewhere. We believe that the last place savings to be made are the front line. At a time when fires are increasing, and certainly in Essex large fires are increasing, we need all hands to the pumps. We need our specialist rescue vehicles, and we need firefighters on the ground.
The reaction of the firefighters that I've spoken to, they have been in uproar over these efficiency cuts. Many feel that this will compromise our firefighter safety and the public safety.
We understand in today's climate that efficiency savings are being demanded across all sorts of industries, but we would ask that they look at finding those savings in other areas. The frontline public safety side of the job should be the last place that they look for efficiency savings. When you dial 999, you want a fire engine to turn up with the correct number of people on board and be able to do the correct thing to the safest possible standard. And at the moment, we don't feel that that's going to happen.
Our members are for the firefighters, the emergency control operators and the fire officers that have to deliver the frontline service. They're the professionals. They're the ones that understand what it's like on the fire ground, and they're the ones that the chief fire officer should be listening to.
From a regional perspective, have there been similar cuts elsewhere in this region that you can learn from?
Yes, there certainly have. There's certainly been instances of other brigades where they've made similar cuts to what Essex are proposing now. Very often they start off with a couple of jobs here and a couple of jobs there, and nobody sees the danger. But what it actually means is that frontline appliances end up being taken off the run to enable those special appliances to be accrued.
The difficulty is when senior management are talking about reduction in frontline firefighter posts, and then on the other hand talking about a £2 million injection into the IT project, as at the same time as running 2 headquarters and £11.7 million being pumped in, and that's just starting costs into their second headquarters. I think it does grate on firefighters.
Unfortunately, our members are now faced with being backed into a corner and have no other option but to ballot for industrial action. There was a successful campaign run by our officials, and we secured nearly an 80% yes vote. 8 out of 10 fire officers, firefighters and emergency control staff voted for industrial action. That's 8 out of 10 of our membership that do not agree with these plans. Lastly, certainly from myself and certainly from the Essex officials and the members, we'd like to thank all the other brigades that have sent messages of support. Certainly when times are where you've been working hard and you're a little bit low, reading these messages of support from other brigades and certainly other branches that have taken the time to write to us and email us and text us, it's really heartwarming. And obviously from our members and our officials, we pledge our support to all the other brigades around the country that are being affected by these cuts.